Hi Yogi Scholars, this is Kristen with Yoga Day again, and I'm really excited for our third yoga class so far for the summer break. This class is going to be about focus, and a lot of you, if you've done yoga with me before, you've probably heard the story that I'm going to tell later on in the class. But what in yoga, the idea is that we focus on the movements of our body and our breath. Those are the two main components. And in doing so, we help to kind of quiet our mind with all those racing thoughts that happen throughout the day. And the idea is that the more we do that in a yoga class, the better we'll be able to monitor our wandering thoughts in our daily lives and apply that same focus that we have in yoga class to all sorts of different aspects of our lives and become more successful because of it. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start a little bit differently today. So start seated, and we're going to do some side body stretches. So first, take your left hand down to the left and stretch your right arm up and over and look up toward the ceiling. So there's focus with your eyes, right? So we're focused on one spot on the ceiling, or maybe if you're outside in the sky. Take a big breath in and out. And then we're going to go to the other side. Stretch your right arm down to the right, left arm up and over. Feel that nice side body stretch. And slowly come up, and now we'll work into a twist. Take your right hand over your left knee. Take your left hand back behind you. Big breath, stretch up, and breathe out, look over your shoulder twist. Breathe in to stretch up. Breathe out, look over your shoulder and twist. And untwist. Other side, left hand over your right knee, right hand back behind you. Big breath, stretch up. Breathe out, look over your shoulder twist. Breathe in to lengthen up, straight spine. Breathe out and twist. And untwist. All right, before we get started with the sun salutations, we're going to do a breath called Lenin breath. And Lenin breath is actually named after a boy named Lenin. And he probably is, at the time, he was in 6th grade when he made up this breathing exercise. And right now, I would imagine he's probably a junior or senior. But he made up this breathing exercise, and it was so good, I've used it ever since. So you're going to start with your spine nice and straight, shoulders back, hands on your knees. You're going to breathe in as you raise your arms up. Flip your palms over, breathe out. Flip your palms over, breathe in. Flip your palms over, breathe out. Flip your palms over, breathe in. Flip your palms over, breathe out. All right, let's get right into it with downward facing dog. So put your hands on the ground, curl your toes under, lift your hips up. And since this is the first downward facing dog, you can walk your dog, pedal your legs back and forth and back and forth. Let your head hang, no need to hold tension in your head or your neck. Move from side to side, and remember, if you feel tightness in the back of your legs, bend your knees as much as you need to. Take a big breath in, let all the air out, and walk your feet to your hands. Slowly roll up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll your shoulders down and back. Let's do a few sun salutations. Remember, in sun salutations, you're focused on the movements of your body, how your breath helps you move. And then as we get into them a little bit more, you can choose whether you step or whether you jump. Jumping is fun, but if it's not something that you want to do, then you simply step. Start with your hands together in the center of your chest. Find one spot to focus on in front of you. Take a big breath, inhale, stretch up, and breathe out, fold forward. Remember, bend your knees as much as you need to. Breathe in, hands on your shins, lift up halfway. Breathe out, hands down, step back, high plank. Go to your knees if you need to. Lower down, low plank, elbows in close. Breathe into upward facing dog, and breathe out, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Let all the air out. Look between your two hands and step, or now if you want, you can try to hop forward. Breathe in, lift up halfway. Breathe out and fold. Breathe in, stretch up, look up. Breathe out and fold. Breathe in, lift up halfway. Breathe out, hands on the floor, step back, high plank. Go to your knees if you need to. Lower down, low plank. Breathe in, upward facing dog. Breathe out, downward facing dog. Big breath in. Let all the air out. Look between your two hands and step or jump forward. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out and fold. Breathe in, reach up, stretch up. Breathe out and fold. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, hands on the ground, step back, high plank. And I'll show you from the side, lower down, low plank. Breathe in, upward dog. Breathe out, downward dog. And this down dog, remember, you want a straight spine, hips up high, bend your knees a little bit. From here, we can work on a little bit of a hip opener. So you can take your left leg, lift it up high, and then bend the left knee and open up through the hip. This is a three-legged dog right here. And then step it down, and then try the other side, right leg lift up, three-legged dog, and come on down, look between your two hands, take a big breath in. Let your exhalation help you as you jump your feet to your hands. And then slowly sit down. Okay, we're going to work into some balancing postures now that we're all nice and warm. These balancing postures correspond with a story that I'd like to tell. When I first started learning yoga about 20 years ago, this story was told by my yoga teacher, and I never got tired of hearing it. And it's a story from the Bhagavad Gita, which is a book from India, and it's a story about focus. The main character is a guy named Arjuna, and the story goes that Arjuna was a warrior, and he was a king, and he was a poet, and he was a philosopher, and he was a scholar, and basically everything that Arjuna did, he was the best at it. Now, if you can imagine growing up with a brother like that, his brothers were a little bit jealous of him. And so one day, there were three brothers, one day they went to their teacher, and they went to their teacher, and they're like, Arjuna, 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 why is Arjuna so good at everything? Why is he the golden boy? Why is he always the best? And the teacher said, you want to know why he's always the best? I'll show you why he's always the best. And so he gave them each a bow and arrow. In those days, that's what they used, right? And he took them all out into a field, and he took a little wooden bird and he placed it up high into a tree. And he summoned the first brother over, and he gave him the bow and arrow, and the brother pulls back the bow and arrow, looks up in the tree, and the teacher says, what do you see? And the brother says, I see the bird. And he says, what else do you see? And he said, I see the blue sky behind the bird, I see the wind moving the leaves, and the teacher says, away with you. Second brother comes up, pulls back the bow and arrow, looks up in the tree, and the teacher says, what do you see? He says, I see the bird. He says, what else do you see? And he said, I see the branch that the bird is on, I see the bark on the branch, and the teacher says, away with you. Third brother comes up, pulls back the bow and arrow, looks up in the tree, the teacher says, what do you see? And he says, I see the bird, and he says, what else do you see? And he said, I see the sky behind the bird, I see other birds flying in the sky, and the teacher says, away with you. Finally, Arjuna comes up, he pulls back the bow and arrow, and he looks up in the tree, and the teacher says, what do you see? And Arjuna says, I see the bird. And he says, what else do you see? And he said, I see the eye of the bird. And he said, what else do you see? And Arjuna says, nothing else. And the teacher says, shoot. And the point that the teacher was making was, normally when we do this in person, I ask you, but I'm going to have to tell you now. So the point that the teacher was making is that Arjuna was going to hit the bird, right? And it's because his focus was only on the bird and nothing else existed at that specific time. The other brothers saw the sky and they saw the leaves and their eyes were wandering, but Arjuna kept his eye completely on the bird the entire time and did not allow himself to see anything else. And so obviously Arjuna is going to have the best chance of hitting the bird, but there was a bigger lesson that that teacher was trying to tell them. And the reason, and that bigger lesson was, that is why Arjuna was so successful in his life. That whatever activity he did, he devoted 100% of his concentration and focus to that activity. Whether it was training for battle, or whether it was writing a poem, or whether it was working on a math problem. And especially in today's day and age, our focus is constantly being pulled in different directions, especially with what we're doing right now, right? Phones and technology. And we think that we can multitask, but really, yoga shows us, and also too, scientists are telling us that that's really not the case at all. The more that we can train our minds to focus 100% on the activity at hand, the more successful we're going to be. That's a story that's 5,000 years old, that's still relevant today. So, what does that have to do with our yoga class? The next few postures are going to be about balancing on one leg. And when we balance on one leg, we have to have 100% of our focus on balancing on one leg. We're going to use our eyes, our drishti, to look at one spot. That's the drishti, right? We're going to use our breath in and out through our nose very calmly. and we're going to focus only on balancing on one leg with that focus of our Juno. So the first one that we're going to do is bow pulling pose. We're going to make our bodies look like a bow and arrow, just like the bow and arrow in the story. So you're going to stand up, and I'll do it both ways. I'll do it front ways, and I'll also do it to the side so you can see. So you're going to stand up, and first, let's just mindfully look down at our feet. Bring your toes together in a little half-inch gap between your heels. Then lift up all 10 toes and place them mindfully down on the ground. Now let's work our way up, right? Make sure your legs are active. Contract your thighs. Squeeze your booty. Lift up out of your waist. So the more your core is engaged in these postures, the better your balance is going to be as well. Bring your right hand out. Bring it out to the side. Notice that your thumb is pointing behind you. You're going to reach down and grab your foot. Now already, I want you to focus one spot about 4 or 5 feet in front of you that's not moving. Bring your knees together to start. Stretch your left arm up. Take a big breath and kick your leg back and up. And then your right arm is just along for the ride. It's just holding on to that foot as you kick. And I'll show you from the side. Keep kicking. Keep trying to stay in the posture. Your body looks like a bow and arrow. The leg is the bow. Your arm is the arrow. Stretch forward, kick back, and then slowly kick to come out. All right, we're going to do it on the other side. Don't worry if you wobbled. Don't worry if you fell. It's completely normal. And in my opinion, guys, this balancing posture is one of the hardest of the balancing postures that we do in yoga. So if you don't get it right away, you're not supposed to, right? Try, practice, and practice. And the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Bring your left hand out. Bring it out to the side. Drop it down, thumb pointing behind you. Reach down, grab your foot. Now, if you'll notice with me, my legs are tight, right? So my knee comes out so I can grab my foot. If you can, try to bring your knees together, and you'll notice you'll feel a big stretch in that leg. Stretch your arm up, find one spot to focus on, and kick your leg back and up, having that focus of Arjuna. Stretch your arm forward, kick back. Breathe, stretch and kick, and then slowly kick to come out. Okay, so that was bow and arrow pose. Next thing, the teacher put a bird up into a tree, right? So we're going to do 2 different bird poses for that. The first one that we're going to do is eagle pose, and then from eagle pose, we're going to try to kick it back into an airplane, which I know airplane isn't really a bird. It kind of looks like a bird when you're in it, so we're going to try it, okay? You've done both of these before in the last 2 classes. Toes together, bring your arms out, and then bring your right arm under your left arm, making your eagle beak. Now, you can make your beak this way, right here. If that doesn't work, you can make your beak this way, just like that, right? Now, if you're making your beak this way, I want you to try to pull your shoulders apart and feel that stretch in between your shoulders. If you're making your beak this way and you pull your elbows down, you'll feel a nice little stretch in your neck and in your traps right here. All right, find one spot to focus on, bend your knees, sit down, and bring your right leg high over your left leg. Oh, now today I can kind of hook my foot under. Yesterday I couldn't. Today, I don't know why, I'm a little bit looser. I can hook my foot under. Squeeze your legs together. Squeeze your forearms together. Lift your chest. Now from here, trying not to let that right foot touch the ground. Take a big breath in, and then see if you can kick it back. Airplane pose. Here again, find your drishti, one spot on the floor. Find your breath. Pull your belly in. Take a big breath in, and release. Leg down. All right, let's try the other side. Arms out. Left arm under. Make your beak this way or this way. Feel what feels right to you. Bend your knees. Left leg over your right leg. Squeeze in. Pull your belly in. Lift your chest. So right now your focus should be with your eyes. Also feeling how your body feels. And finally on your breath. Take a big breath in. Without dropping your foot, see if you can kick it back airplane. Point your toes directly down toward the ground. Pull your arms back behind you. Breathe. And release. Okay. And then we'll finish it off because he put the bird up into a tree, right? So we'll finish it off with tree pose. In fact, guys, probably every yoga class we do will have tree pose in it because I love tree pose. All right, so start with your toes together. Remember, your whole body is active, working the balance. Shift your weight to your left leg. Push your left big toe down. And you can start with the right leg lifted. Here, or all the way to here. Pull the belly in, Lift up out of the waist, hands palms together in the center of your chest. Find your drishti, one spot. Breathe in and out through your nose. Push your foot into your leg and your leg into the foot. Maybe today you're a little bit better at balancing than you were the very first day, and that would be awesome if not. And also too, remember guys, our balance is affected every day by different things. How well you slept the night before, if something's bothering you, what you ate. Every day you'll find that your balance is a little bit different. Some days it's going to be great. Some days it's going to be not so good. That's all right. The most important thing is that you pay attention to your body, you breathe, and you don't judge. Just be with where you're at. All right. I broke my rule because you're not supposed to talk while you're balancing, and I talked the entire time. Anyway, push your big toe down, other side, here, here, or all the way up to your thigh. Engage your core, lift up out of your waist. When you do that, make sure your shoulders don't come with you. Shoulders need to be down, hands together. Find your spot, breathe in and out through your nose steady. And if you start to feel a little wobbly or swaying, right, just come back to your breath, keep lifting up, keep focusing. Release. Leg down. All right, good job, guys. Let's do a sun salutation to come to the ground. So inhale, stretch your arms up over your head. Actually, you know what? We're going to do something else. Sit down. Sit down into Utkatasana, right? So this works on the strength of your legs. Chair pose is what this is called. Works on the strength of your legs. Pull your shoulders down, pull your belly in. We're going to make this a little bit fun. We're going to make it into a rock and roll. So can you sit down lower and lower and lower? And then you're going to roll back and come back up in the chair. We're going to do that 3 times because chances are the first time you might not have had the momentum. Now we're going to do it 3 times so you'll get the momentum. Be careful and gentle with yourself when we do this. I'm on cement. Sit down lower, sit down lower, sit down lower, roll back, come back up in a chair. Last one. Ready? Sit down lower and lower and lower and lower and roll back. And now roll to a seated position. Okay, so that was fun. That's something that you can show your little brothers and sisters or someone else. That's a fun activity to do. But now we're going to go down to our stomachs. So come forward, lie down on your stomach, and we're going to do locust pose because that's a flying pose. It kind of corresponds with our theme. Bring your arms out like this. Keep your head neutral so your neck is nice and long. Take a big breath and lift everything up. Arms, body, legs, head, everything lifts up. Breathe. Every time you inhale, see if you can lift up a little bit higher. And release. All right, make your wing. Make a fist behind you. If you can't make a fist behind you, grab a hand towel or a wash rag or a dishcloth. And then lift everything up. Breathe as you lift. Pull your arms up and back. Lift one leg up. So you can lift the other leg up. And slowly lower down. All right, my favorite stretch. Bring your hand out to the side, palm facing down. Bring your other hand underneath your shoulder and slowly roll onto that shoulder. Now remember, you choose how much weight you put on that shoulder. If it's really tight and you don't want to put any weight, you just go like this with your leg down. If you're feeling good and healthy, you can let your knee come up. And slowly lower down, and now other side. Roll onto that shoulder and breathe. And come back to center. All right, we're going to press up into plank pose. There are several different ways that you can do plank pose. If you don't like doing it on your wrists, if it's hard on your wrist, you can do forearm plank, and I'll show you what that looks like. If you want to do it on your wrist, you can or on your hands, you can totally do it on your hands. I'll show you both. So forearm plank is just what it sounds. Put your forearms on the ground and then lift up into that forearm plank. You can either have your hands in a fist. I like to have my hands on the floor with my fingers spread out. And then I'll show you what it looks like from the side. You're not dipping down into your lower back. You're not lifting your hips up really high. You're like a plank of wood. That's how strong your body is. You can try it, hang out here, or you can go all the way up to your hands. Now,
This is really hard and calls for a lot of strength, right? But while you're sitting here, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, maybe you find out the world record for holding plank pose is 8 hours, if you can believe it. 8 hours! So, if someone around the world can hold plank pose for 8 hours, I think we can do it for a few reps, right? All right, now, lift your hips up to downward facing dog. A fun way to get to seated is to jump to crisscross applesauce. Here you have to use your breath. So you're going to take a big breath in to fortify, pull your belly in as tight as you can, exhale all the air out, and see if you can jump to crisscross. It's fun to do. It takes a little bit of practice. The worst thing usually can happen is maybe you might stub your toe sometime. Be careful of that, right? Also, too, if you feel like your arms are too short to do that, you can get 2 books and put your hands on the books and then jump forward, and it makes it a lot easier. So, all right, we're going to do bridge pose, and we're going to do a little bit of core work, and then we're going to end with some stretching. So, getting down into bridge pose, feet hip width distance apart, stretch your arms forward and slowly lower all the way down to your ground. Walk your feet in close, arms down by your side. Now, so for some of my scholars who've done yoga with me or with Leafy or with Clarissa or Alex before, if you guys want to do wheel, I'm totally okay with you doing wheel. I don't do wheel anymore because it hurts my shoulders, but you can do that in place of bridge pose. If you're newer to yoga and you don't know what wheel is, I will show you at the end of this. But guys, you have to be really, really careful and mindful when you're going into wheel pose. And you never want to have weight on the top of your head when you're in it. Those of you that do know how to do it are welcome to do it. All right, arms down by your side, palms facing down, toes and hands in one line. Draw your belly in, feel that press your lower back into the ground, and then lift your hips up, bridge pose. So bridge pose is a really great posture. It works on the strength of the back side of your body. It opens up the front side of your hips. If you push your big toes down, you might feel your inner legs work to make that happen. So many times people, their knees want to flail out. You try to keep your knees in line with your hips. Now, if you want to make this a little bit deeper, you can walk your shoulders underneath your body, make a fist, and lift your hips up a little bit higher. Relax your neck and your jaw. No need to hold any tension there. Squeeze your glutes and lift your hips. And slowly lower down. Upper back, middle back, lower back. All right, this next one, what we're going to do, we're going to hold it for about 5 breaths. So that's a pretty long time. While you're in it, I want you to notice what you focus on. Try not to let your mind wander, thinking about other things. Try to focus solely on what you're doing. So, toes and heels in one line. You can't see it, that's your proprioception, right? You can't see your body, but you know where it is. Bring your arms down by your side, palms facing down, belly in, squeeze your glutes, lift your hips. Stay here or make the fist. And now as you breathe, you can focus on breathing in and out through your nose. Focus on how your body feels in this posture. Focus on whether you're holding tension somewhere. And if you are, know that, especially if it's in your upper body, try to relax it. And then maybe you transfer all that tension to your glutes and your legs. And use those muscles to lift your hips up a little bit higher. Breathe in and out through your nose. Focus one spot with your eyes on the ceiling. And then slowly lower down. Upper back, middle back, lower back down. All right, bring your knees into your chest. Rock gently side to side. Okay, here we're going to do some toe touches. We haven't done those before. So you're going to lift your legs up to a 90-degree angle. And we're going to end this way as well, because this is a nice little pose to end with. So lift your legs up, and then you're going to lift your head and shoulders up. And you're just going to take your hand and reach to the outside of your foot, and then switch. And we'll cross over, and we'll do 20 of those. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And bring your knees into your chest and rock side to side. All right, and then we're going to do some of those bicycles. Actually, no, we're going to do the dead bug. Dead bug is a good one. So make your legs a 90-degree angle, knees over your hips.
Arms up toward the ceiling, and then remember, it's opposite leg, opposite arm. Takes a little bit of thinking. Pull the belly in. You really want to press your lower back into the mat. When you do that, you're going to feel your stomach muscles. And then extend the right leg and the left arm, keeping the lower back down, and then switch. And then if you feel it in your lower back and it doesn't feel good on your lower back, you don't have to go as low with your leg. You can go higher with your leg. Ready? We're going to count down 20 more. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch your arms and your legs apart. Good work, scholars. All right, if you want to rock and roll because it's fun to do, we can rock and roll to come up to a seated position. Remember, trying to balance as you rock. Maybe you can let your toes not touch the ground. Mine just did. And rock and roll up to a seated. We'll finish it off with boat pose. Hands underneath your knees, roll your shoulders back, lift one leg up, then lift the other leg up. You can stay here or let your hands go. And then as you get better at this, maybe you work on straightening your legs. That's really hard for me to do, so I'm gonna keep my knees bent. But remember, you can always put your hands back behind you, and you can always hold behind your legs. Hold this, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good job, guys. Okay, so the hard part of the yoga class is over. We're going to end with some nice stretching. We're going to do a pose that's called pigeon pose, and I'm going to show you how to line up and do that. However, if you, and this is the case for any of the postures, if you feel this in your knees, then I'm going to show you how to do pigeon pose. Actually, we're going to do pigeon pose on our back. Pigeon pose on your back is basically that figure 4 stretch that we've done before. I'll show you what it looks like. You're going to lie down on your back and put one heel on top of your knee, thread your hands around behind your leg, and pull your knee in close. Okay, so that's pigeon pose lying down on your back. If you get into this pigeon pose with me and it doesn't feel good, then you go down to your back, right? Okay, for pigeon pose, we're going to start on our knees. You're going to start on your knees, and then you're going to just let your hips go off to the side, and now you look like a mermaid. You're going to take this top leg and stretch it back behind you. Now, when I get into pigeon pose this way, all of my weight is on this hip, as you can see. I'm kind of rotating out. So now your job, if it feels okay on your body, is to try to distribute the weight over both hips. So in doing so, you're going to feel a stretch in the left front hip, the hip flexors, and also in this outer hip here. Now, we're a pigeon, right? Pigeon pose, so we're going to flap our wings. And then pigeons apparently are known for staying on their nest for long periods of time. So that's what we're going to do. So now remember, if you're not feeling good, you should be doing this on your back. Otherwise, you can walk your hands down, make a little pillow for your forehead, and rest your forehead on your hands. Close your eyes and take a big breath in and out. Big breath in and out. Last one, big breath in and out. And slowly make your way back up. We're going to do the other side. Step that knee forward. Sit down. Now we'll go off to the other side. Make yourself the little mermaid. Take your top leg, stretch it back behind you. Now you'll notice all of this weight is on one hip. Rotate it around, try to get it on both hips. Take a big breath, stretch up. Oh, flap your wings. And sleep. Make your forehead rest on your hands. If that doesn't feel good, you can always go to your forearms like this as well. Now, on that last one, I counted breaths. On this one, I want you to notice if your mind starts wandering. So in a yoga class, when you're constantly moving and you have the rights and the lefts and what you're supposed to be doing, it's so much information that your mind stays focused, hopefully, on what you're doing. But in these relatively still postures, like pigeon is right now, and your body's still and you're in it, that's when your mind has a tendency to start floating around thinking about other things. Right now,
Take one deep breath in. Feel your hips, feel your legs, feel your breath, and let it out. And then slowly make your way back up. Take this foot, bring it around in front of you, come to a crisscross position. All right, from here, we're gonna go into some leg stretches. So we just did the hip flexor stretch and the outer hip stretch. Now we're gonna work on our hamstrings. So bring your left foot out and bring your right foot against your left knee. We're gonna do a couple of different things here. First, flex the foot and walk your torso down your leg. Feel this in the back of the leg. If it feels good, you can grab a hold of your foot. If you can't grab a hold of your foot, you grab a hold of your calf, whatever feels good, and pull your body down. Then let your head relax. And slowly make your way back up. I'm going to turn to the side so you're going to see what we're going to do next, but keep the legs where they're at. You don't need to turn. All right, so from here, this is just a fun little posture, and it opens up the front side of your body. Take your right hand next to your hip. So it's the same. My leg is straight. This arm is straight. Ready? I'm going to put all of my weight into my hand and my foot. You're going to take a big breath and lift up. And it's a pretty little pose, and it feels good. And come back down. All right, now bring that foot, instead of having the leg open, bring it up like this, and we're gonna twist. So this is my right knee. I'm gonna take my left elbow around my knee. Take your right hand back behind you. Big breath, stretch up, breathe out, look over your shoulder, twist. Breathe in to lengthen up. Breathe out and twist. All right, we're gonna do that same sequence on the other side. So switch legs. Fold over your foot. And as you do this, just because this just reminded me, you're gonna feel different on one side than you are the other. This side is my tighter side. Use your exhalations. Breathe in, breathe out, relax your head. And slowly come up. All right, the knee that's bent, you're gonna put your hand next to your hip. Straight leg, straight arm, and lift. Feel a nice little back bend, a nice little hip opener. And come on back down. All right, now bring the foot inside on the ground. Take your elbow, wrap it around for the twist. Take your other arm back behind you. Breathe in, stretch up. Breathe out, look over your shoulder, twist. Breathe in, lengthen up. Breathe out, look over your shoulder, twist. And untwist. All right, lie down on your backs. Straighten your legs or bend your knees if you need to. Walk your shoulders down away from your ears. Keep your left leg straight. Bring your right knee up. Interlace your fingers over your knee and pull your knee down close. Now, if you're very flexible and you want, or if you just want to work on your flexibility, you can also straighten that leg and pull. This will keep your spine straight as you do this. If that doesn't feel good, you can always change your mind, guys, when you go back to the bent knee. Now, if you want to try to twist, you can either twist with this bent knee like this, like we've done before, or you can try to straighten that leg and twist. And then again, feel free to change your mind. If you need to bend the knee again, you can. And come on back down, other side. Extend the right leg, left leg lifts up, interlace the fingers over the knee and pull. Keep the leg bent, or see if you can straighten the leg and pull. With your leg straight or bent, pull it over to the side, look over your left shoulder. And release, bring both knees into the chest, rock gently side to side, close your eyes. No need to do any more work. Take a big breath in. Breathe out and release. Legs down, arms down. Shavasana.
Just like I mentioned in pigeon pose, now that your body is completely still and there's nothing left to do, that's when your mind has a tendency to start thinking about other things. When is lunch? What am I going to have for dinner? Have I done my exit ticket? Let all that go. In fact, right now, while we're lying here still, picture those thoughts that enter your mind as little clouds. And as those thoughts enter your mind, just watch them as they float off into the sky. Bring your focus and your awareness back to your body. Feel your chest rise as you breathe in. Feel your chest fall as you breathe out. Now take another big breath and feel your chest rise and your belly rise. And breathe out. Belly falls, chest falls. Breathe in, chest rises, belly rises. Breathe out, belly falls, chest falls. Do a little body scan. So focus your attention on your feet. Are they relaxed? Focus your attention on your legs. Are they relaxed? Focus your attention on your hips. Are they relaxed? Focus your attention on your belly and your back. Are they relaxed? Focus your attention on your shoulders. Are they relaxed? Focus your attention on your arms, and your elbows, and your hands, and your fingers. Are they relaxed? Focus your attention on your neck, and your jaw, and your cheeks, and your forehead. Are they relaxed? Stretch your arms and your hands and your toes like you're waking up. Roll to one side. Press yourself up to seated.
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that class on focus. I wanted to end with a little bit of homework. So here again, this is about a 40-45 minute class, but I have a little bit of homework for you. First off, just the idea of focus. You've applied it for 40 minutes in this class, and now think about, during the day, what are you focused on? Are you focused on things that make you feel good, or are you focused on things that make you feel bad? Just like I've said before, when you practice this kind of discipline in a yoga class, you'll get better at being aware of your focus and changing your focus during the day depending on how you feel. One of the great things that we do as a family for our focus is what I call a gratitude jar. Now, this is all decorated because my daughter decorated it, but it doesn't have to be anything fancy. In fact, it can be a bowl. All you need is some sort of container and some paper, right? And then throughout the day, and you can make it a game with your family if you like, as you walk by it or as you think of something that you're grateful for, you write it on your slip of paper and you stick it into that bowl or jar or whatever else. So, this is a good one. This is, I am thankful for education. That's very appropriate. Let's see, some of these are blank. I am thankful for my pets. I am thankful for Clementine. Oh, that's my son and that's my daughter that he's thankful for. So, like you can see, they don't have to be big things. It doesn't have to be monumental things that you're thankful for. It can be the little things all around you every day. And the more that you actually shift your focus to focus on things that you're grateful for or that make you happy, the better you're going to feel throughout the day. That's not to discount that there are unhappy things happening and that sometimes this is a crazy time, and it all is right now, especially why we're doing things virtually. But throughout the day, if you can just very gently and subtly shift your focus to these good things that we have, it will make your day feel a lot better and brighter. And the more you practice it, just like anything else, the better you're going to get. So that is my homework for you. make sure you go and fill out your exit ticket for this. If you would like to send me pictures of your focus jar or your gratitude jar or bowl or whatever else, I would love to see pictures of it, and we can figure out a way to post it somehow so we can all share. Remember, my email address is Kristen, Kristen, at yogadayus, all one word, .com. You can also instant message me on Instant Messenger at yogadayus, and I'll get those messages. Also, too, please, please, please come to my office hours this week, and we can videotape, and you can show me things that way. And also, too, give me your feedback, because remember, the very first day, your homework was to decide some of the postures that you want to learn in the next 6 weeks. I don't know them right now. I'm having to do this all beforehand, so you're not going to be able to do it this week. But next week and the week after, we can start addressing some of those fun things that you might want us to incorporate in these classes. So, do your homework, fill out your exit exam, and meet me back here tomorrow. All right. Thank you guys for showing up. I hope you had a good time. See you soon, and namaste.